Hey guys, Ernest from Langdon Tactical here, and today we're going to talk about Beretta 92 series magazines. Okay, so when we start talking about the Beretta 92 series magazines, we're talking about a gun that's been in production since 1975. So there's a lot of magazines on the market, and we're just going to touch on the major ones that have been out for the beginning of the magazine, or beginning of the gun, if you will. The first magazine we're going to talk about is the Beretta 92 magazine that's coming in current production guns. This is a kind of a universal magazine, if you will. It's got a Parkerized type finish on it. It has relief cuts on both sides for the ambidextrous magazine that comes in the current production guns, as well as a cutout for the European style magazine release buttons from the original 92 series guns. So this one will pretty much fit in any 92 series gun that's out there right now, and this is probably the most common magazine that we see for the 92. Moving on from there, we have our 10 round magazine. This is a really high quality magazine, also a universal magazine, but this is a current production one, and Beretta did something a little bit unique that a lot of manufacturers did not, where they actually creased the magazine here to reduce the stagger of that 9mm magazine, so that that gave you the capacity difference instead of chopping the magazine and putting this big plastic floor plate on there. I personally think this is a better design. This is a nice high quality magazine, and if you live in a 10 round state, this is definitely the way to go. If we move on from here, this is an M9 or a GI issue magazine from back in the day. It has the blue type finish, if you will, but it has the assembly number right on the side, but not a universal magazine. If you see, it doesn't have the cutout in the bottom. They started doing that especially on military guns to keep sand and debris from getting in the bottom of the magazine. But this is a 15 round magazine, aluminum follower, so a very old design, aluminum base plate, but still a good high quality magazine. If we go on from there, we get into a later production GI magazine. This is actually a Beretta manufactured one with the rougher finish that the Army ended up speccing on the magazines. But it now has a polymer magazine and a steel floor plate. What we saw was the original aluminum bottoms were not that durable, especially when you drop them repeatedly onto concrete. The steel bottom was supposed to be an improvement for that, but what I have found is the steel bottom actually creates more problems than problems that it would solve. The tip of it will bend up and keep you from seating the magazine into the gun, and then these corners will dent and keep you from taking the base plate off so you can properly clean the magazine. So good idea, but in reality it didn't work out real well. If we move on from there, we have the M9A1 magazine, which is this sand resistant PVD coating, sand groove in the side of the magazine that I talked about in another video, with the new polymer floor plate, which has a steel insert in it. So this is a super high quality magazine. I kind of call this the go-to-war magazine, if you will. Very reliable and has all the right features that you would want for a go-to-war magazine, if you will. If we go on from there, we have a newer version of Beretta's high capacity magazine they came out with a few years ago. This is a 17 round magazine, so they changed the follower design and started using a nesting spring to give you that little bit more space to get 2 more rounds of capacity. So this is the Beretta factory 17 round magazine that's coming in the new 92Xs and things of that nature. So good magazine. And they also have a Super Duty version of that magazine, which has the PVD coating on it as well. So this is a really nice magazine as well. It's a good option for you if you're looking for a factory version extra capacity magazine. When we start talking about extra capacity magazines, I'd be a little remiss to not talk about the 93R 20 round magazine. Super reliable, great magazine. These are kind of rare these days. You see them, Beretta sometimes sells them and still produces them, but a real high quality magazine. This is an old one right here. And then we've got the 30 round magazine that I think Beretta didn't really want to make, but they have sold a ton of these things. So again, fun magazine, but you really got to want to get those last couple of rounds in here when you're loading a full 30 into that one. When we move on from that, let's talk real briefly about the 92 compact and the magazines that came with it. The first one we'll talk about is our two 13 round magazines for the original 92 compact. This is an older magazine here, made in Italy, all of that stuff. This is a crime bill magazine that has the for law enforcement use only stamp on it that no longer applies, but basically identical magazines. Both of them are later production, so they have polymer followers, but aluminum base plates on them. If we move forward, the current production compact magazines, this happens to be a 10 round version of the magazine, has the new polymer base plate on it with a steel insert in it. And that steel insert gives you that same reliability I was talking about probably from the earlier or the current production 92 magazines. The next thing we'll touch on is aftermarket magazines and my recommendations there. My personal favorite magazine for my 92s is the Metgar 18 round magazines, or 18 and 20 round magazines. Couple of things about this magazine I really like. First of all, it loads really easily. It's a super reliable magazine. It loads really easily. It holds a few more rounds of ammunition. The anti-friction coating is far superior to the parkerized or blued finish that we see on the factory magazines. And the other big thing is the nose of the magazine is rounded versus the sharp square corner that we see on the factory magazine. That sharp square corner tends to cause you problems when you're trying to reload the gun quickly. That's the place that always seems to snag when you're reloading the gun. And from that standpoint, the Metgar magazines are far superior when it comes to reloading quickly. But the finish of the magazine, the capacity of the magazine, and the reliability of the magazine make this my personal favorite. And of course, the 20 round version, and this one's been used quite a bit, is a great magazine. It holds a solid 20 rounds and functions flawlessly. I've got lots of rounds downrange with these 20 rounders. We also have the new compact 15 round magazine. So we got 2 more rounds of capacity for the 92 compact in the same size magazine. So 15 rounds of capacity in this magazine, and we have the extension, the finger extension like we have on the standard magazine, but you can also put one of the standard Beretta 92 mag bottoms on there, reduce the profile of your compact a little bit. So that's a little tip for you if you need to try to shorten up or make that compact a little bit more concealable. So guys, that covers a lot of information about a lot of the magazines out there. Like I said, my personal favorite and the ones that I use the most are the Metgar magazines. And if I had to pick one from a factory magazine, it would be that 15 round sand resistant M9A1 mag. So guys, go out there, train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.